Bibles first and pull Luke chapter 9. Luke chapter 9, verses 57 through 62. And you're going to stick your finger there. Luke chapter 9, verses 57 through 62. When you hit your finger there, kind of hold it. And then you're going to flip to 1 Kings chapter 19. And that's where we'll start out with in 19 verse 21. So when you get Luke chapter 9, verse 57 through 62, stick your finger there. And you're on your way to 1 Kings chapter 19. Stand and let me know that you got there. We're going to be reading 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 19 through 21 together. So reading 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 19 through 21. So he departed from there and found Elisha the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen before him, and he was with the 12. And Elijah passed by him and threw his mantle on him, and he left the oxen and ran after Elijah, and said, "Please let me kiss my father and my mother, and then I will follow you." And he said to him, "Go back, for what have I done to you?" So Elisha turned back from him and took a yoke of oxen and slaughtered them and boiled their flesh, using the oxen's equipment, and gave it to the people. They ate. Then he arose and followed Elijah, and became his servant. Lord, we praise you and glorify you. We pray tonight that you would open up our hearts and minds, and the Holy Spirit, Lord, would grab a hold of us, and we would understand exactly, Lord, what you're telling us to be, to do, and what it means to follow. It's in your name we pray. Amen. If you would, please be seated. There is a reality of the Christian life. There is a reality of following Christ that often that we really don't want to talk about. It's actually something we don't want to acknowledge. Very few times when we hear it spoken about or talking about, but it's a reality we need to embrace. And this is the reality, is that there is a cost for following Christ. There is a cost involved in following Christ. More aptly put, that the Lord actually demands something from us when we follow Him. When you look at Matthew 28, 18 through 20, which is the Great Commission, we understand that we are called. We understand that we are mandated. That we are to make disciples by gospeling, baptizing, and teaching. That is to be our focus. We are to be focused on sharing the gospel with those around us. We are to be committed to growing one another, to growing each other, and what it means to follow Christ. And in that, it is a call to be committed. In that, it's a call to be focused. In that, it's a call to be sold out. That it is the priority of a believer's life. That takes the top rung of who we are and what we do. For some reason, many believers feel like that they are opted out of that. That they don't have to do that. That it's not their responsibility. That in following their king, it costs them nothing. And that simply isn't true. One of my heroes is actually the famous missionary Lottie Moon. And Lottie Moon, as she was writing many of her letters back to encourage support, she wrote this: "How many there are who imagine that because Jesus paid it all, they need pay nothing, forgetting that the prime object of their salvation was that they should follow in the footsteps of Jesus Christ in bringing back a lost world to God." How many there are who imagine that because Jesus paid it all, they need pay nothing? What is she saying? She's saying there's a cost to follow Christ. The question is, what is that cost? What does it look like? Tonight our two passages will help us understand that question. Tonight we are going to look at 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 19 through 21, in conjunction with Luke chapter 9, verses 57 through 62. And in that we're going to understand a very key principle of the Christian life, that there is a cost to following Christ, and that cost is all of you. Everything that you are. From these passages, we're going to see that there is a very clear three things that Jesus says, three things that you're going to have to give up in following Him. And they are earthly securities, earthly ties, and earthly distractions. So tonight we're going to look at those three truths that come at the cost of following Christ. And then we're going to talk about, of course, how it applies to us. And tonight, if you're a believer and you get to the end of this, you should ask yourself a question. Am I willing to pay that cost for following Christ simply because I know He's worth it? Am I willing to pay that cost for following Christ simply because I know that He's worth it? And tonight, if you're not a Christian, I encourage you to listen in and understand that we'll talk about just for a few minutes, something that you may not know, but when you become a believer, there is a cost. And that cost is that you have to stop being the king of your life and give that to Jesus. But in the end, hopefully you'll understand that's worth it. So as we begin tonight, let's look at 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 19 through 21. Let's get a feel for what's happening in this passage. Because this is where we've been at. We've been looking at 1 Kings, looking at the story of Elijah and God's working through Elijah. So let's get a feel for what's happening in this passage. If you remember, when he last left Elijah, he was at Mount Horeb. God had just revealed Himself to him. And He gives Elijah a very clear command to get him back in the game, to get him working, to get him serving. He calls out to him, he says, Elijah, I want you to go to Hazael, and I want you to anoint him as the king of Syria or the king of Aram. And then I want you to go to Jehu, and I want you to anoint him the king of the northern kingdom. And then I want you to go to Elisha, and I want you to anoint him as your successor, the guy who's going to be my prophet after you. And as we pick up in verse 19, we see Elijah goes to Elisha first. Possibly he's probably gone to Abel-Meholah, and that is where Elisha is from. This is a little community, Abel-Meholah. It's about 20 miles south of the Sea of Galilee. It's about 100 miles from Mount Horeb. It's a good idea to think, and we don't know for sure, but it's a good idea to think. It's been about 2 months. 2 months since Elijah was threatened by Jezebel. And more than likely, she's still looking to find him. She's still looking to seek vengeance on him. And so he sees that when Elijah gets there, he sees Elisha, and he's in the fields, and there's about 12 team of oxen going plowing the fields, and he's at one of the teams. And Elijah walks up to him and throws his mantle, throws his cloak on him, letting him know that you are my successor. And obviously Elijah knows what's going on, right? Elijah just goes, I'm going to throw it on you. He walks off. Elijah kind of freaks out. And he runs after him. And we know that he gets it. He gets it that he's supposed to be the next in line. He understands what's supposed to happen. And what we see next is that Elisha breaks ties from his past life. He clears up everything to do what he's been called to do by God. What we see is that Elisha understands that the cost of following God, and he's willing to pay it. Now keep your finger there. Let's flip over to Luke chapter 9, verses 57 through 62. We will come back and reference that and take a look at that passage. But in Luke chapter 9, we are in a really neat place, a really unique place in the book of Luke. We're going to be in verses 57 through 62. In this is a unique passage that helps us understand exactly what Elisha knew. This passage helps us understand what he was going through, experiencing, and what he knew what the cost was by the way that he responded. Now, this passage, like I said, is pretty unique. In Luke chapter 9, verse 51, you'll see that Jesus has turned his attention. He's ending his earthly ministry. He's now going towards Jerusalem, where he knows he's going to be crucified. His mind is now going to what's waiting for him on the cross. On the passages leading up to our passage, it's really unique because at that time Jesus has revealed himself on Mount Transfiguration. He's revealed his glory to his disciples. And then he's healing people, making people make sure they understand that he is who he says he is. He's doing things that only God can do. And then he's teaching his disciples about being the greatest in the kingdom. And then right after our passage, we see that Jesus sends out the 70 in pairs. He sends them out to the harvest. He sends them out to go and tell people about him. So here's where it's unique. Jesus is revealing himself. He's revealing his glory. He's talking about what it means to follow him. You have our passage, and then you have him sending out people to do his work. And our passage is right in the middle of all that, where Jesus makes it very clear there's a cost for following him. He reveals his glory. He sends them out to work. But in the middle, he says, you need to know that there is a price for being my disciple. There's a cost for following me. You need to make sure you're aware of it. And that's why I really love this passage in Luke 9:57-62. Because we are seeing here a side of Jesus that we generally don't like to talk about, that we really don't refer to. Jesus in this part, he's very clear, he's very blunt about what it means to be a follower. You know, if somebody's trying to recruit somebody to do what they're doing, if you're trying to recruit followers, if you're trying to get them to be a part of what you're doing, you'll tell them whatever it takes to get you to be a part of it, right? I mean, if you're getting stuck having to remodel your bathroom, you'll tell somebody, yeah, we'll be done in a couple hours. Come on, help me out. You know it ain't going to be a couple hours. It don't matter what. You're trying to recruit people to come in to be a part of it. Not Jesus. It almost looks like Jesus is thinning the herd. See, Jesus is making sure that they understand. He doesn't want people who are just hanging out for the free food, or hanging out for the miracle, or hanging out for the healing, or hanging out for the show. He doesn't want people half committed. He wants people who are all in. He wants people who have counted the cost for following him. And when they remain, they get what it's going to cost them. But when they stay, they're not going anywhere. Jesus wants people who are committed to being his followers. There's no halfway. I had a guy I used to hang out with about 15 years ago. He's like a mentor, really. He'd been in the ministry for like 40 years. I love just to listen to him talk. He'd been through everything. He'd done through everything. He was just able to pour in a lot of wisdom. And one day we're sitting out there, we're having lunch, and he goes, Brad, listen, one thing that you need to focus on as you're becoming a pastor is that you need to make your church as small as it possibly can be. And I corrected him and said, you mean as large as it can possibly be? He said, no. As small as it can possibly be. I said, listen, I've never heard about that growth model. You're going to have to let me understand what you mean by making it as small as you can possibly be. Because that's something, I've never heard that before. And he said, listen, your job as a pastor is to preach and teach and talk clearly what God's Word says. To preach and teach clearly what is laid out. And you can't listen to what Jesus is saying and not understand there's going to be a cost in their discipleship. You can't speak and teach and preach clearly and people not understand that there is going to be a cost in their following for Christ. There's an expectation for your salvation. There's an expectation for your service to him. He says, and when people start to understand that, they're not going to hang around. See, a lot of people want to go where it's comfortable. They want to go in a place where they get pats on the back and they get their needs met. He said, but if you tell them the cost, and they count the cost, and they understand the cost, and they hang around, then you'll have a church that's fit to be the bride of Christ. Because they're all in.
Amen.
And see, what we see in this passage, that's what Jesus is doing. Jesus is saying, there is a cost to follow me. Jesus wanted everyone to follow him. But he wanted them to count the cost. Because if they understood it, if they were all in, all committed, they truly were his followers. There's a cost. So as Jesus starts going through this and starts talking, we are able to see in verses 97-62 that there are three costs. And the first one that we see in the cost of following Christ is that a follower cannot have earthly security. A follower must be willing to give up earthly security. Look at what Jesus says in verses 57-58. Now it happened as they journeyed on the road that someone said to him, Lord, I will follow you wherever you go. And And Jesus said to him, "Foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." What a bold statement this guy makes. Jesus, I'll follow you anywhere you go. I am following you. I am following wherever you want. Jesus says, listen, the road I'm going is pretty hard. Remember, he's already turned his attention to the cross. The road he's going is leading to the cross. But Jesus makes it even more personal. He says, listen, you understand that I'm not one of those jet-setting rabbis. I don't have a big tour bus, and I'm not flying from village to village, and we're not throwing up big events, and I'm not staying in the best hotels, and I'm not getting big offerings every night. You realize I got nothing. I got no earthly possessions. I got no earthly positions. I got no money. I have nothing. Are you willing to follow me on this road? Are you willing to give up all the security? Are you willing to give up everything that you work for, that you think is so important, that you think you have to have, that you're holding on to? Are you willing to give up all those things and positions and possessions and finances that you think are the one thing that keeps you safe in this world? Are you willing to give up that security for me? Have you ever really thought about how much Christ actually owned? He wants to teach a lesson and he has to borrow a coin from somebody. He's proving that he is the Messiah and he borrows a donkey. He is actually buried in a borrowed tomb. How ironic it is that the God of this universe, who created everything and who owned everything, had no possessions, no positions, nothing earthly that he could attain to. And the bottom line is that Jesus said, if you're going to follow me, you've got to give up everything that you feel like can bring you security in this world. If you hold your position, you flip back to 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 19. This is what we see in Elisha. I mean, you got Elisha, he's out there, and he's plowing with a team of oxen. There's 11 other teams going out beside him. It looks like he's got some pretty good stuff. That's a full-fledged agricultural team for back then. It looks like that he's a guy in charge. So what can we guess? We can guess he's probably a man of wealth. He's probably a man who's probably in line to take charge and maybe be the master of the house. He's a man who has stuff. He's probably comfortable. So what does he do? Elijah comes and throws the mantle on him, and he leaves it all. He leaves all of the possessions and the positions. He leaves all the earthly security, and he steps up and he follows God without even blinking an eye. He understands there's a cost to following God. See, the reality is this, that when it comes to following our King, he doesn't want us to rest on anything this world has to offer. He wants us to trust him. And remember, Elijah and Elisha never wanted for anything. See, why they gave up all earthly security? They had the greatest security of all, and that's heavenly security. That God is the provider, that God took care of, that God provided, that God was their king. They had no ties to this earth that can take them away from what their God was calling them to do. See, that's what it means to be a follower. You're willing to give up any of the earthly securities that you always think that you have to have that ties you to Him. Be able to keep your eyes on the one who's called you to Him. There's a cost to following God. And Elisha knew it. The question is, do we? The first cost to following our King is earthly securities. The second cost to following our King is earthly ties. Flip back to Luke chapter 9. You're going to get crazy flipping back and forth, but just work with it. Luke chapter 9, in verses 59 through 60. Jesus says, Then he said to another, Follow me. But he said, Lord, let me go first and bury my father. And Jesus said to him, Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and preach the kingdom of God. Wow, doesn't this sound rough? I mean, this sounds pretty harsh, doesn't it? Jesus looks at the guy and says, follow me. The guy says, listen, man, I'm all in. Just let me go bury my dad, and I'll come and be a part of this. And Jesus said, no, listen, you let the spiritually dead bury the physically dead. My call can't wait. Now, before we get too sidetracked with this, we need to understand something. This guy here did not say, hey, my dad just died, so give me a few days to get the arrangements in order. See, this is a custom during the time period. What he's saying is, I'm responsible for my dad. So as soon as I don't have responsibility for my dad anymore, I'll follow you. Listen, we don't know if his dad's even sick. His dad may be catching 9 holes of golf every morning for all we know. I mean, we don't know the position this guy's in. What this guy is saying is this: listen, I have a responsibility to my dad, and that responsibility comes first. But after I fulfill that responsibility, I'll come follow you. And Jesus says this: I am the responsibility. All earthly ties, all earthly relationships are second to me. Understand that Jesus is not saying that you walk away from your family. He's not saying you don't fulfill your obligations to your family. He's not saying that. But what he's saying is this, is that in all relationships, I come first. I am the primary relationship. I am the one that you focus on. You trust me to handle all that other stuff, but you don't put them in front of me, because as the king of your life, I come first. I am the primary relationship. No earthly ties, no earthly relationships come before me. You cannot have a divided loyalty. I come first. How often do we know or feel that God is leading us to do something, or be a part of something, or do a ministry, and we sit there and we go, I don't know how it's going to affect my family. I don't know how it's going to affect my friends. And how often do we do that and say no to God? Once again, He is not telling you to reject your family. Christ is just saying, I come first. Because I am the King. I am the Lord. You trust me, and everything else falls into place. Listen, this is what we see with Elijah. If you flip back, we see in verse 20. We see that after he realizes what's going on in 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 20, he says he runs after Elijah, and he goes, hey man, let me go back and say goodbye to my mom and dad. And Elijah goes, go ahead, what have I done to you? It's really an awesome statement. So what Elijah is saying is, I didn't call you. I didn't select you for this. God did. So you handle it with Him. If He says you can go back, you go back. It's not between me and you, it's between you and Him. So what does Elijah do? Elijah goes back, and Elisha goes back. What we see is that he kind of throws a party. And in that, he tells everybody goodbye. He says, I'm not coming back. I love you, I appreciate you, thank you for everything, but I'm following God. See, what we see in this is that Elisha understood that his call was to God first. And as you see the rest of the passage and you read the story of Elisha, what you begin to see is that he served God for the rest of his life. And he never went back. The reality is this, is that there is a cost to following our King. And that's no earthly tie, no earthly relationship goes before Him. He's first. We trust Him to take care of the rest. We know there's a cost to following Christ. We know in that cost there should be no earthly ties. There should be no earthly relationships, no earthly securities above Him. And finally, we see there should be no earthly distractions. No earthly distractions. Look at what Jesus says in verses 61 through 62. And another also said, Lord, I will follow you, but let me first go and bid them farewell who are at my house. And Jesus said to him, no one having put his hands to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of God. Once again, this is harsh. It seems like it's harsh. It's really not, but it seems like it is. This guy said, listen, I'll follow you, But I want to go back first and set some things in order, say goodbye to everybody. Jesus says this: if you know that I've called you, you know what the task is, and you've already gotten started, don't look back, because it's a distraction. You're going to have distractions all around you. You're going to have things that are tugging at you, things that are pointing to you. But if you know that I have called you, and you know that you have put the hands on the plow, my call to you is urgent. My call to you is what's the priority. You keep working at that. Don't be distracted with everything that's going on around you. Distractions will come, but you need to stay focused on me. You need to stay focused on what I've called you to do. You need to do the work that I put in front of you, because my work, my call, it is urgent. Do not be distracted in anything else that's happening around you. How often, as we are trying to serve our King, do we become distracted with some things that are really good? Family and job and relationships and finances and health. How do we become so distracted with these things, and we often miss the opportunity to serve our King that's all around us? We miss the eternal work. So often we're focusing on the temporary distraction. Jesus is saying, listen, there's a cost in following me. You got to be focused on the job. And don't be distracted with what's happening around you. We see that with Elisha. I love what he does in verse 21. He's saying goodbye to everybody. And what does he do? He throws a party, basically. I think of it as a barbecue. He takes his 2 oxen that he has at a farewell banquet, and he slaughters them. And then he takes his yoke and everything he's doing, and basically he cooks them up. And he gives them to everybody. It's kind of like a farewell dinner. But it's more than that. The things that he was working on, the things that he was doing in that field are no longer there anymore. He has slaughtered them and he has burned them. He's making the statement. He's saying, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm called in a new direction and I'm not coming back. I'm not going to be distracted with anything that's going around me because I can't. Because they're no longer here. I hand this to the plow. I'm following my King. And he will keep me focused on him. Is there something that distracts you from following the King? See, Elisha here, his statement is huge. See, I'm not making it an option to come back. I'm removing it. I'm telling everybody here, I love you, my family. I love you, my friends. I'm celebrating what's been done. I'm following God. And remain a prophet for the rest of the day. See, this is what Elisha understood. There is a cost to following God. There's a cost. We give up earthly security, realizing we do have heavenly security. We make sure that our earthly ties are in order, but our tie with our King is first. Trusting Him to handle the rest. And we make sure there's no distractions. Removing what needs to be removed so we can stay focused on Him. Elisha knew there was a cost. The question is, do we? So as we look at this between Luke chapter 9 and 1 Kings chapter 19, and we see what Jesus is talking about, very clearly about the cost of following Him. And we look at what it says in 1 Kings chapter 19, the actions of Elisha, someone who understood that. The question that we ask is, what does this mean to you and I tonight? How does this apply to us? Well, for me, I think it's a little bit of a basic statement. I think it can apply to all of us. And that statement is being willing to pay the cost for following Christ because you know the work. Be willing to pay the cost for following Christ because you know He's worth it. So tonight, if you're not a Christian and if you're not a believer, what does this mean for you? Well, listen, I want to tell you something that we often don't talk about, something that we often don't bring up. There's no doubt tonight that if you're not a believer, your greatest need is to be rescued from your separation from God through faith in Christ. There is no doubt that that is your greatest need. And there's no doubt that that's what God wants to do for you. That's why He's brought you here tonight. And once again, tell you that that's the offer He's making to you. But here's something that we normally don't tell folks, and I just want to lay it on the line. That when you come to God through faith in Christ, there is a cost. See, here's the cost. Jesus says very clearly, I will rescue you from your separation from God, but you've got to make me the Lord of your life. That's the cost. You see, right now in your life, you're the Lord. You're calling the shots. You're making all the decisions. You're trying to find peace, happiness, and joy, and you realize you're not finding it. And Jesus says, listen, I will rescue you from that separation that's forever and bring you back to a relationship with God. And I will do that. And you will have what you're looking for. You'll have true peace. You'll have true love. You have true joy. All these things that you want. But the bottom line is you've got to give up control of your life and give it to me. And here's the neat thing. That while we feel like we're giving up something, the reality is we're gaining everything. It's really not a cost. It's the benefit. Because if you're honest, you'll realize that you being in your control of your life is not giving you anything. But when Christ is in control of your life, He gives you everything. Bottom line is that you desperately need, it's your greatest need to be rescued from your separation from God. That's what you're longing for. That's what you're searching for. Jesus says, I'll do it. But in doing that, you have to make me do it. And I encourage you tonight to accept that offer because honestly, it's the only way you'll have true joy, true peace, true happiness now and forever. It's really not a cost, but it is something you have to accept. Christian, as we look at this and we talk about Elijah and Elisha, so many times I hear Christians we're saying, you know what? I can never do what Elijah and Elisha do. I can never really give up like that. I can never be like them. And my question is why? There was nothing special about Elijah or Elisha. They were ordinary guys. They didn't have a special gene in their DNA. They didn't have any special training. They were just like everybody else. The one thing that they did that was so amazing is they understood that they had to be sold out to their God. The true joy, true happiness, true love, true peace is not found in us doing what we want, but in doing what He's calling us to do. They were completely and totally committed to Him, and they understood that there was a cost. And the cost is giving up all the earthly security, all the earthly ties, to give up all the earthly relationships, to give up all the earthly distractions that are keeping us from Him and following Him. But what they understood is that the cost was worth it. The cost was worth it. They understood that in giving up everything, they had lost nothing. And they had received everything back in return. And this is the same thing that Paul talks about in Philippians chapter 3, verses 7 through 9. This is what Paul writes in Philippians 3, verses 7 through 9. But what things were gained to me, these I have counted lost for Christ. Yet indeed I also count all things lost for the excellence of the knowledge of Christ Jesus my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and count them as rubbish, that I may gain Christ and be found in Him. What's Paul saying? I've lost it all and it's meant nothing. And I've gained everything in Jesus. So Christian, let me ask you tonight. Do you actually believe that? Because if you do, then tonight is the time to make a commitment saying, Lord, I do believe. Tonight's the time that we sit there and say, Lord, I understand. And following you, That I am going to be willing to give up the earthly securities, and I'm willing, Lord, to put earthly ties where they need to be, my relationships in the order they need to be with you first. And I'm willing to give any distraction that's keeping me from you. I'm willing to give all that up because honestly, in the end, I know what true joy, true peace, true everything is found in you. I'm willing to remove that, to do whatever you've called me to do, because I know that when you're glorified, I'm really satisfied. If you truly believe, true happiness is found in Christ. The Christian, you have to be willing to say, I'll pay the price. I've counted the cost. I'll pay the cost. Because I know He's worth it. So tonight, as we come to the portion that we call the invitation, the time that you're invited to respond as the Holy Spirit is leading you to respond, I want to remind you tonight that if you're not a Christian, if you're not a believer, the only way you can respond to this tonight is to accept God's offer to come in through faith in Jesus Christ. And I do believe that that is what the Holy Spirit is making you aware of tonight. Your separation from Him and God's offer for you to come in through faith in Christ. Through the invitation, I encourage you to come down and talk to me, Pastor Mike. We'd love to tell you more about Jesus. You need to understand that everything you're looking for is found in Christ. But when you come to Jesus, you're willing to put Him on the throne because you know that's exactly what He's supposed to be. Christian, tonight, if you truly believe that all happiness is found in Christ, then you're willing to count the cost of serving Him because you know it's worth it. I encourage you tonight to invitation, lay it on the altar. Lord, I have counted it. I get it. I am going to put everything where it needs to be. I'll follow you whatever you want me to do, because when I am in you, I am happy. I have true joy. I have true meaning. And that's the only way I'm going to have it. You count the cost for your service. You say it's right. If you need help with that, you need encouragement with that, Pastor Michael and I will be down here. We're willing to pray with you. The altars. Honestly, no matter who you are tonight, I encourage you. Pay the cost of following your King Jesus Christ, just because you know He's worth it. Father, we praise you, we glorify you, we thank you, Lord, for who you are and your love, Father. We sit here and we look at these great men and women of the Bible and understand, Lord, and we say they have given up so much, but they would say they have given up nothing, Lord, because what they found was your power, your presence. It was your working in their life. They lost nothing and gained everything. Our King, we pray tonight that we as your followers would have that same perspective. That we will stop trying to hold on, Lord, to what this earth has to offer to be our security. That we'll stop putting other relationships ahead of you. That we'll stop being distracted from everything that's going around us. And we'll say we have counted the cost and we're all in with what you want to do. Because we know that when we're with you, we have everything. Allow us to count the cost. Realize you're worth it. Father, we just pray that you would be so active in our life. That we would be so committed to seeing and following you. That you will work in us and through us for your glory alone. All this we pray in the name of our God and King Jesus Christ. Amen. So we call the invitations. The time you're invited as the Holy Spirit leads you. Do know no matter what you're experiencing, what you're going through, the altar's open. We're open, and you can pray with those beside you. Please stand and worship with us.